Lemonada.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, the answer. You ask me, I'll tell you anything.
Well, I feel like people have seen a different animal.
There might be new people here because of a different animal.
I love that. I love that I stopped for a coffee in Soho and I was saying something about my podcast to a friend, and the guy, the barista, was like, "You have a podcast?" And I was like, "I know, it's weird. Somebody funny with a podcast, but hopefully he's a new listener." I think his name was Zach.
Zach, you better be here.
You better be here, boy.
Ooh.
But a different animal was out. And I'm not going to lie, the day it came out was a weird day for me. I had so badly wanted this to be amazing. And I think anytime in show business, when you like really build something up, I can't say that I've had a lot of moments where I'm like, wow, that was incredible. I guess I woke up wanting it to feel like Christmas morning, but I woke up at 6 a.m. on the East Coast and it came out at midnight. So no one would have seen it except for like a couple of true fans. And you really have to wait like a full month. And so I guess I had like written my own story in my head that like the headlines across the news would be like, Iliza Shlesinger, a different animal, broke stand up. And instead, it was just me without Instagram on my phone, a little jet lagged, waddling through Manhattan. But I think people like it. I think we have a hit, folks.
I think it's good that you took Instagram off your phone.
I did. You can only get called a Zionist bitch by uninformed people so many times before you're like, this isn't about my stand-up. Just for a break. We still have a team that answers it and sends me any feedback or questions or stuff like that. But we've gotten to the point in the career where we know what the compliments are going to be. And even if it's 50 compliments and one negative thing, the negative thing doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm enraged that people feel that they can even say shitty things, and they're usually just saying it because they're bored.
Right.
It's rarely actual feedback. And so it's just been a tough week. But, you know, we did a bunch of special pop-up shows in New York and Toronto and Buffalo, where I could not stop saying Ruffalo Buffalo, and nobody thought it was funny. And you've had a big week as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. While you were really agonizing over your special on Tuesday, my dad got heart surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Brag. One up. I had to one up your special.
Just showing you things could always be worse. And I always think about that when I feel bad about myself or my pilot doesn't go or any other ways this career wants to kick me in the teeth repeatedly. I'm always like, but your family is healthy. I always feel like the universe, like when you're sad with yourself, it like does something to you physically. Like I got a sharp pain in my back and they're like, that's right. You could have skin cancer or you could shut the fuck up and just be grateful. That's what I feel.
Do you ever worry about shingles? I feel like they make it seem like a big problem.
I think it's for the elderly because I think it's like a chickenpox. Is it the chickenpox virus or like the herpes virus? It's one of the two that's in you.
It's like herpes in your spine, but it's related to chickenpox maybe.
Herpes in your spine.
I might not be right on that, but it is a concern for me.
Herpes in your spine. Herpes in your spine. So coming up this week, we're also doing our live episodes of Ask Iliza Anything. So if for some reason you are a fan but didn't know that, we're going to do 4 shows. So you have the option as the audience to stay for 2 tapings because we're doing one on Saturday, one on Sunday. You have the option.
You have the stamina. If you sign up, people are signing up, but they're going to be told you're coming to this show. You don't get to just bump people coming to another show because you want to stay.
Well, I'm sure Emily and Leah will handle it as well as you guys have handled the mic on this podcast. That always sounds weird. I'm sure you guys are right on top of that. Emily just starts crying. She's like, my dad is recovering from a heart thing. I don't have to troubleshoot your mic across the fucking country. What else do you want from me?
You want me to do audio engineering too? What else? What else
if I could answer that, just in general, what I expect from people versus what I get. And I think that's why I'm so frustrated.
I should be doing less. I'm going to put in less effort to this podcast. Good luck.
You can't because I send you birthday gifts and I send you Christmas gifts. And I always tell you off the record how much I love you. So you can't. You're stuck with
sometimes you tell me you see cool celebrities and I'm like, cool, did you talk to them? And you're like, no. Whoa. What kind of alarm was that?
It is this alarm that comes with the iPhone that sounds like the beginning of Owl City.
Yeah. Why was it like you were being attacked by
It said
performers?
Emily Pod.
Yeah.
And it's like, you will not believe your eyes. If anyone else has that alarm. Well, because I used to have the like, get up and go to the airport. You know what I've had in my head recently? Because I've had maybe 3 hours of sleep every night for the last week. Inclusive of like getting to an airport at like 4 a.m., like getting up. When I wake up, I do have a moment where I sit on the edge of the bed and I hang my head in my hands. And I'm like, I just feel so broken. I hear that guy, that DJ from the pandemic who's like, get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. And I hear it and I'm like, get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. I don't like calling women bitches, but I do think it's very funny.
Do you put your feet on the cold floor and go?
I do. No, I'm like, you just put your feet. That's one step closer to your shoes. Just get up from this hotel in Buffalo, get to the hotel. And that will actually part of my top of the cob. So we can deal with that. I think we have, and I met a lot of fans after the shows who are big fans of the pod. Also, shout out to Linda, who initially emailed Emily's podcast, which shall not be named here, and wrote just a really nice email. And she's actually not a stand-up person. Like, she's never seen my stand-up. She was just like a native fan of the pod. So I appreciate that. And I loved your email, Linda from Park Slope. And I think we've got some follow-ups. I've been on that Patreon. I've been posting my coffee. I've been looking at yours. It's my only social media is our Patreon.
Yeah. The follow-ups have not been anything.
That's okay.
That is worth getting into.
We can just go to the questions. And I urge you to submit your juicy questions at askelizapod@gmail.com.
Ask Eliza podcast.
See, that's not what you said. And I literally have it in writing. Oh, maybe you're right. You know what? You're right. Ask Eliza podcast. Why we took out the anything. Why you struck that, I don't know. Ask Eliza podcast@gmail if you want to potentially get your question read on our live episode.
Or another episode.
Or just submit it and then it becomes ours. Release that art.
Send more questions there or on the Patreon, which I think is almost, let me see what the numbers are at. We're creeping up.
You're like, oops, it went down.
They're so mad. They went down. No, we just passed 2,500.
2,500? I thought we had 20,000. Maybe that's listeners. Like if you also include Scandinavia. Okay. Well, we've got questions. You've got answers. This is your...
No.
You've got the questions and we've got the answers. And this is your... You know what's funny? Anytime you're like, no, you always object. I'm like, what the fuck? But you're always right. And it always, you're like, you misspoke. Well, I'm like, there's no way.
I don't know if it's like, it feels rude to interrupt, but also if you just get on a real tear talking and then I have to be like, redo all of that feels more annoying.
Sure.
Than just shutting you down immediately.
You know, if you do it perfectly, women are going to hate you. And when you do it imperfectly, they're going to say, she's trying to be relatable and she's not. And that actually has to do with my bottom of the cup. Coming up later at the bottom of the hour. But for now, let's throw to Emily.
They did decide I'm less relatable than you.
You're not relatable.
Correct. Less than you.
I do think a lot of girls are secretly as gross in their habits as you are. And they're just not as proud. And I think you're progressive and I think you are feminism.
It's me. I'm the representation.
Just eating a lot of salmon with my bare hands.
I would love to do that.
You can. You live alone.
I guess I could. I'd have to make it first though. All right, let's do a question.
Catch the fish. Scale it. Descale it.
Help me stay away from a non-toxic ex. Dear Eliza and Emily, my best friend, male 25, and I, female 27, stopped our long distance, friends with benefits relationship in October.
Okay.
But last night he initiated sexting, him asking, not him sending. And I caved and did send him a picture. I told him it would just be a one-time thing and we can't make it a habit again. How do I make sure that this is it? I have a soft spot for him that makes it hard to say no. He's never pressured me on anything sexual. It's just because I love him so much as a person. For context, we were coworkers, then friends living in the same area. I was 24 and a virgin, so I asked him to be my first. He was supposed to move in 2 months. I figured it wouldn't hurt anything. He never ended up moving, and we were friends with benefits until I moved a couple of states away about 6 months later. We thought we would end there since we weren't geographically close anymore, but one thing led to another, and it went on for another year and a half. Majority of the time, we were friends who occasionally sexted and occasionally visited each other for a long weekend. I do have other friends who I consider my best friends that are closer to me in proximity. But
You're like, I do have other friends that I sext with.
that's what I thought it was going to be.
All my friends.
But he and I are very aligned ideologically, and I can talk to him about literally anything and feel heard, respected, and understood, which I need, especially in this political climate. Everyone else, I feel like I need to censor myself at least a little bit. When we finally ended our sexual relationship, it was very hard, but also for the best, since we both thought it would be better to try and focus on being more present in our own lives and cities. But that's also why it's so hard to refuse him. There's no animosity or ill will. Even without sex, we still talk about once every 2 weeks instead of 4 days a week. Okay. We made an effort to be less reliant on each other. I just don't know if I can go through this with him again. It was my hardest breakup. And 1, we didn't even technically date. 2, it was mutual. And 3, we still talk. I know this is a long and weird question, but I need hard-hitting big sister advice. Hopefully this all makes sense. Love you both for your amazing insights you give. Thank you, Kay. P.S. I have had sex with other people now as well, not just him. Since we are in different states, we often encourage each other to see other people. I was the only one of us that actually did. But I haven't felt a connection with anyone like I did with him. Maybe that's just a virtue of how long we were together.
Yes.
Everyone else has either been someone I was casually dating or one time saying PPS, he is a biomedical engineer specializing in spine who can only live in about 5 states because of it. And I'm in the middle of my degree, so neither one of us is going to move anytime soon.
So he knows all about herpes in your spine.
Right.
Herpes in your spine. Okay.
Right in about shingles.
Spine.
I have an immediate thought. What cracks me up about this is that she's like, he's so nice. When he asked me for a nude, we're friends. Of course I sent him one.
Nicely.
I'm like,
he sent so many emojis.
Just don't
Here's what this
send him
comes
one.
down to. Here's what this comes down to. Neither of you are involved. So it's hard to get uninvolved with someone that you have an emotional connection to because you're not running to anything else. So it's a lot easier said than done to be like, I encourage you to also see other people. Oh, wait, there are no other people. Still, I guess I won't do anything. I'll just be horny over here. You need to make a concerted effort to actually date, actually be out in your own city. Because the second you meet someone who sparks your interest, this guy's going to be old news. Of course, there's a version where you guys are like meant to be together, star-crossed lovers, but you're so young and early in your careers and doing stuff. This is just a casual thing. And I also didn't hear that you ever text him asking. So it's him. He's had like a couple Bud Light Limes. He's like, oh no, Chris is Kay's up to. I bet, forgot her name. Oh, I'm doing all my theses and experiment. Better call her, get my dick up. So I think the answer is you just stop. And if he really does respect you and love you and care for you the way that you're saying, he will respect that you guys have drawn a line. But both of you are kind of like, well, I'm horny. There's no one else here. So it's all about your willpower.
Yeah, my other kind of rude take is that you're saying when you were texting 4 days a week. Now you text every 2 weeks. You're not best friends. You're not friends.
No.
Like, that's
No,
great that
you're-
you align on things, but he's not reaching out to talk about things that aren't, hey, can I have a naked picture of you? You're not friends.
Yeah, that's a great point. Look at how balanced this is. Is he reaching out to be like, hey, I had a tough day. Do you have a second to talk? And don't tell me he does if he later is like, and so can I see your nipple? And I do think
That's what all men want. We see
Just a quick nip.
one.
Just a winking eye. I do think as women, because I know I've done this, you're like, oh my God, he's like one of my best friends. And the guy's like, I guess. Like, I think we as women attach meaning. I'm not saying the guy's not lovely and not upstanding and all these things, but we get emotionally attached quicker and more than men do. So he's getting from you what he needs. And you are over here reconciling all these like emotions. And he was really nice. And you're excusing it. He's not doing anything bad or wrong because you're allowing it. It's not really respecting you if you're like, let's not do this. And then he's like, can I just see the inside of your labia? Just that one quick lip slip. One lip slip. That's what they should be called. So that's it. If you wanted to, you would.
What was that emphasis? You just slammed a door closed after saying nip slip.
The drawer of my desk keeps like floating open like a ghost pulling it. And I'm trying to get it to stop opening. I want to see all my files.
So it sounds like your desk has a lot of problems going on, not just the microphone.
It's the microphone. It's your fault and it's Leah's fault.
Mm.
That's what I said.
This girl doesn't want to hear that. You're not best friends.
We ended this when we started talking about my desk. She heard it.
We have a
But Emily takes that one. Even though I said more and did lay the groundwork for her answer, Emily, she clinched it.
Thank you. We have a follow-up that I am going to read. This one is important because you will remember this. Hey, my question about asking for a book back was read in the episode, The Past Tense of Blow Dried. Now, this is, of course, a woman lent her book to someone. She kept trying to get it back from them. They're moving, and she saw it on their shelf in the house staging pictures. So she's like, can I just go over and get it when the house
The woman was like, I don't know where it is. And
Right.
she didn't want to creep around and be like, I looked on Redfin and I saw my book
Right.
in your listing.
Yeah.
So she had asked us, do I just go over during an open house? And we had a lot of different advice for her.
Yeah.
And most of it was just just let go of that book. Just let go of that copy of 50 Shades of Grey.
Right. Now, I was hoping to send in a quick update that I got my book back, but unfortunately, I will never get it back because the book is completely destroyed. Rachel finally texted me and said she found it, but it's very damaged, and she offered to buy me a new one. She sent a picture, and the whole book was severely water damaged and creased. I have no clue what she did to it, but I assume she was hoping I'd forget about the whole thing, and that explains why it's been such a process to get it back.
She read it in the bath. She read it in the bath. That's what happens when you read in the bath. Don't take any self-care time.
If you lend someone a book, they better not be taking it in the bath. It's humid in there.
Also, you drop it once, water damage. Did you take it on a trek? Did your house flood? It's just weird to lend something so menial and it comes back just completely demolished. You're like, it's a spoon. What did you do to it?
Look, I don't care. She still wants her book back because she says,
okay, sorry.
I have no clue what she did to it. I assume she'll never forget about it. I decided to cut my losses and see the condition in person. So I said, no worries about buying a new one. Just set it on your porch and I'll grab it. She said she'd send it to work with her husband to give to mine. Oh, right. It was her husband's friend or brother's wife, whatever. I said, sure. That was 2 weeks ago. And just yesterday, I asked my husband if he had heard from Rachel's husband about a book, to which he gasped and said, oh, shoot. I totally forgot about that. Apparently 2 weeks prior, Rachel's husband set the book on one of my husband's car tires and texted him about it. But by the end of the day, my husband forgot about the text and drove off, leaving it to get run over and rained on. I'm very curious why he would have put it on any tire other than the driver's side one, because if it were there, my husband definitely would have seen it, right?
How about the windshield? No one's taking a shitty looking used book.
Either way, my husband feels really bad and will be buying me a new copy. He's also under a ton of military career pressure at the moment, so I can't fault him for forgetting about a text he got 10 hours prior about something insignificant. I'm sure this is the type of update Iliza will hate, but it's not exactly red hot, but I want to write in a conclusion to my very low stake situation I appreciate your input on. Thanks. Now, Iliza, I disagree. I think this is a really good update because to me, it's more intriguing that I think, number one, it looked nice on the shelf. She fucked up the book. Number two, he put on the car tire knowing something would happen. He's like, I left it out in the elements for your husband instead of putting it on his desk or whatever. They were just covering their tracks the whole time. What happened to that book?
That's what we need to know, but you'll never know because they moved away. What's this woman's name?
She didn't give one here, so I'm not
Mitzi,
saying it.
here's the deal.
Our friend Mitzi.
When you initially wrote in, I seem to remember something that I gleaned from what you were saying was about your husband and his very busy career. I didn't get the sense that you had a career. It's not an indictment on you, but I did get the sense that you are very much there supporting your husband and that friend is moving. So I think you live on a military base. I love that you wrote into our podcast, and this is a bit unsolicited. I think you need something to make your own. I do. I think that it's not look, I have so much time for petty minutia. It would boggle your mind. But woman to woman, I think you need something that is your own so that the excuse can't always be about your husband being busy. Because I think we tend to be like, well, he's busy. And of course he forgot that because this is something that meant something to you and he couldn't be bothered. And if he's like the president's security guard, I get it. But there was something in the initial email as well. And what I hope for you is that you are, and maybe I'm wrong and maybe I'm misstepping, but I hope that you are fulfilled and have something to call your own. That's all.
Here's also my thought, and I wonder how you feel about this. If I'm the other person with the book, the only reason I wouldn't leave it out is because I'm scared that the person is going to use it as an excuse to try to hang out. But if they're like, oh yeah,
weird.
leave it on the porch, it's fine. I'd be like, oh, if I leave it on the porch, are they going to try to talk to me? But I don't know. Rachel
she's
sucks.
Be paranoid about that.
All these people suck.
Not the girl writing in.
No, all the people that she's talking about, they're leaving the book over. The husband put it on a tire and not even the front left tire. I don't think he put on a tire. I think
by the way,
it doesn't
relax.
exist.
By the way, yeah, something's weird there. Someone's lying. But also, like, you're in the military, so it's not unlike high school in that, like, you have no control over who you're next to. Like, there's no saying that woman's a quality person. She just happens to be the wife of someone your husband works with. So you have to be congenial because you're in these situations where you're with all these people from all over the world. And yeah, I think military spouses are like the backbone of our military. Like, they sacrifice so much. And so if it's possible for you to have something that also takes up a little bit of space in addition to your husband's jobs and priorities, like, I just want you to feel that you matter too. And that what matters to you matters. I just think it's shitty that it was like, oh, I forgot about the book. I'm so busy. Like, okay, well, I asked you. Why the fuck was this guy putting it on the tire? I just think your needs aren't being met. Let's move on. I said it. You can tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think you're going to.
Hello.
I'm sensitive today. She's dealing with a family issue. And I can
I'm not
see
sensitive
you were like, I feel like I went in too hard. And you're like, okay.
on this lady. No, I just find this book to be the highest stakes. I'm so intrigued.
Something's
by
going on.
Because in the realty picture, it looked normal. What did she do? Did she take a bath after that? Did she put it in a fire? What happened?
But also, if I borrowed something from someone and I damaged it, I would call you immediately. I wouldn't wait for you to
mortified.
Follow up. I would immediately replace it.
Absolutely.
That woman sucks.
Yeah.
Bad priorities, not your kind of person. You need to screen your friends better. Yeah. You need to be like, my husband's a sergeant. Who the fuck are you?
That's what
my husband's a rear admiral.
It's
a thing.
I believe you.
It's a totally non-homosexual thing.
Hello. Note, I can't help but hear Emily's voice as I type this.
I know, it's awful.
Hi. Just looking to see if I'm being a bit unreasonable or unfair. My husband, 37, male, and I, 34, female, are expecting our first child in August. Our families are excited, which is nice. And I had already thought his sister buying gifts might be an issue because she buys everything from Amazon and has bought us stuff we haven't mentioned wanting or needing. My husband and I are both minimalists and are on the same page that we don't want things from Amazon. My husband and his sister know that if she wants to buy us gifts, to not buy them from there. This week, she bought us children's books that we did not ask for from Amazon, and it made me mad. So I asked my husband to reiterate with her, and that if it happens again, I'm going to say something. I understand it's coming from a good place, but just feels like I don't give a shit about your values and want to feel like I did a good thing by buying you a gift. My husband spoke with his sister, and he said she took it kind of hard, which I feel a little peeved at because I worry it'll turn into a guilt trip from her. Like, I'm just trying to do something nice.
But you're not.
No.
That's the thing.
I feel like this might continue to be an issue. And also, I don't want extra junk or stuff that we don't need or want. I'd rather get hand-me-downs or go to a thrift store for most things. Again, I understand it's coming from a good place, but also, is it if we didn't ask for the gifts or really want them in the first place? Eliza, am I being unreasonable and telling people where they can spend their money? And how would you handle a situation like this? I know you have said have the partner or spouse handle it, but I worry she might not take him seriously because she's older and has kids already. All right, so he's the baby brother. I also worry that to defend her buying stuff from Amazon, she'll do the just you wait until you're a mom and super busy, implying that we'll use it. She tends to do that. And if she said that, I would probably have some choice words that I would regret. So please save me from that. I appreciate your advocacy for minimalism and not buying shit we don't need. And you're also a practical and fair person. So I'd really appreciate your perspective on this. Katie, Eliza, do you think of yourself as fair?
I do. Like, I think a Nazi has a right to a peaceful protest.
Right. Or a fair trial. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like, we're fair. Like, we keep a level head.
Fair
I can't say that's always extended back to me. I think people are fucking unhinged and allowed to have cars and computers. What's the tough thing is, like, no woman who has kids thinks any woman who doesn't have kids yet knows anything. And in a way you don't. But your issue is, and by the way, we all know the only thing you need to be buying off Amazon, engaging with on Amazon is My Special, A Different Animal on Amazon Prime Video. I know people feel some type of way, but honestly, like, not watching My Special when you're the ones that have contributed to the problem the whole time, like, give me a fucking break.
Don't blame them as you're asking them to watch your special.
You have your standards and your values. And there are a lot of things that I was given for my children, whether it was Sierra or Ethan, that you don't, more Sierra, because I already knew what I was doing with Ethan. You don't really know what you're going to do with it. And then one day when they're 6 months old, you open the closet, you're like, oh my God, this. The truth is, books are given a lot. Like it's the one thing that most kids have so much of are books, and they're re-gifted. Other than the last person, for the most part, you can reuse books and re-gift them. I think what you could say to her, and it is selfish, it used to be getting a package in the mail was a really special thing. And now when you get a gift and it's from Amazon, you're like, oh, like unless it's like the milk frother that I asked for, it just feels a little bit more utilitarian. These things are, even when they wrap them in those dumb like pouch things for a gift, it always feels like a robot wrapped it. Like I love that you had the husband do it. I wonder if it's worth, because she's saying I'm a busy mom, and it is so easy to be like, you want this tutu? Great. I buy it off Amazon. Click, it's done. Other websites do make it harder. Apple Pay does make it so much easier. I'm just putting that out there, but you never know. You want her, what you're wanting at the core is like, this is my special baby, and she wants a special gift. And I want a special gift. She may not be able to give that, but what you could say in place of, we don't want any Amazon, we would love your hand-me-downs. You already have kids. I will take all of those things off your hands. Give her, because she's sitting there like, well, what am I supposed to do? And the answer is give me all of your old stuff.
Yeah, because she had kids. I think that this is a matter of reframing it entirely. I think what would rub me as well as the sister the wrong way is this specific, you can't spend your money this one spot. Because to me, it's like Amazon, Walmart, Target, it's all the same. So
yeah, that's right.
I think your issue is like mass-produced garbage you don't need. So I think reframing it as, we would love hand-me-downs. We would love, if you see something on Facebook Marketplace, someone else is giving away, you do the legwork to go get that nice free bassinet. Like you go to a thrift store, you get books from at the dollar sale at the library. Like not just this one, you can buy us mass-produced crap from Target, just not Amazon. That's where I'd be like, all right, your morals are a little...
I mean, I get it. Like we all wish this wasn't like cheap plastic from China that was delivered to your doorstep overnight. But I do, when people, like I've had a couple of people be like, sorry, I'm boycotting Amazon. I'm like, oh, cool. Are you also going to boycott like all the plastic, all the soda companies that make all the plastic bottles that wreck our planet? Are you going to boycott putting gas in your car? Like we pick and choose these things thinking we're doing the right thing, but really she could very easily go through your life choices and be like, oh, are you also going to boycott this? So it does feel like an indictment on her. And it's tough because she's trying to do something, but it's not special. It'd be one thing if she got you like a $400 Baby Bjorn type thing off of Amazon, because that's the best way to do it. But you're getting a lot of crap and it doesn't feel good to receive. So you say to her, it'd be like, we've been getting so much stuff, but since you already have kids, it would be very meaningful to us to get all of their hand-me-downs.
Yeah, let's say all of her books died in a bathtub. If she ordered one book off Amazon,
bathtub fire.
Yeah, bathtub fire, to go to herself, and she wrote in it, this is why this book means so much to me when I read it to my kids, and I hope you have that experience reading it to yours. That then has nothing to do about where
personal.
It's from. It's not just, it's the Amazon of it all. It's the easiness of it. She could have gone click, click, order it, have it there tomorrow.
By the way, if you care about authors at all, just know that when you buy a book off Amazon, like that helps the author the least. Yes, it's cheaper and faster. But like when we did All Things Aside or Girl Logic, I was like, if you can buy it from an independent bookstore, you can still do it online. Super helpful for everyone.
And keep the independent bookstores. So yeah, I think it's just,
You're wanting something thoughtful, not something that comes with like Chinese writing in a plastic bag. Because it never feels good. So just, that's all there. But I get you.
Okay,
for what it's worth, like we do pretty well. And almost all of Sierra's clothes are from my manager's kid. Who's a year older.
Right.
Like almost everything. And all of those clothes then go to my cousin. I love it.
And it's nice when you know someone like she has good taste, so.
Sometimes I'm like, this is the thing I'd have her wear, but you're going to wear it. And it doesn't matter because you're not getting judged on it. That's why little kids are crazy looking in like mismatched leopard and Halloween costume. And it's adorable. When you do it later, it's mental illness. Or it's like, I'm quirky.
Because Ethan's wearing some of Sierra's stuff now too, right?
Myrna's always like, look at him in his sister's blouse. Not a blouse. And I put her in kind of like tomboy stuff. So it's perfect.
Yeah.
In his sister's pants, in his sister's blouse.
All right, here's an important email. The 10 keywords that could tank your Amazon merch account. No, it's not an important email. I'm just doing a little bit.
Oh, I was like, yeah, go on.
No.
Little SEO hustle.
Yeah, for our Amazon merch store. Just after the other Amazon email, we're setting up an Amazon store. Hi, Eliza and Emily. With spring coming, I wanted to get your take on Mother's Day for new moms. We recently had our first baby. He will be 6 months come Mother's Day. Pre-baby, my sister and I would host a brunch with my mom and her 3 sisters who are all mothers. They have sons who have done nothing in the past, so we wanted them to feel included. This year, we don't have a plan yet, but now that I have a baby, I kind of want to spend the day just me, my husband, and son and not cook brunch for everyone and spend 4 hours out and about throwing off the baby's routine. My husband will absolutely celebrate me. It's more the question of what to do about my mom now that I'm a mom as well. Thoughts? The internet has mixed opinions of if it's your mom, you need to be celebrating her regardless of what you want to do versus Mother's Day priority going to moms actively raising kids rather than moms promoted to grandparents. Thanks a bunch, Sarah. Ooh,
Well,
the hierarchy.
Well, the tough thing is that nobody does, like you are doing all the work, which was fine before because you didn't have kids. So you were celebrating your mom. And so there's got to be a way that you can celebrate your mom, but you also feel celebrated. And really, it should be all the men and all of the people in that family that receive love from those mothers pooling together. And you know what? Maybe you could do a potluck. Like maybe you could just make a fruit salad and you bring it and maybe it's in the name of your mom. You definitely should be able to spend that Mother's Day, at least the morning, with your baby and your husband and then go over later. But I do think you're within your right to be like, hey, I don't know that I have the bandwidth. I'd love to just you can bring something just super easy. Some cookies that you bought. Like you're not incapacitated. You don't have a medical issue. I think what you're really annoyed is at this woman's sons that they don't like do more. However, they're not your children. So it's kind of like, are we doing a stone soup thing or not? It's kind of like all or nothing. Because you can't be like, I just want to show up and be celebrated. So just be like, hey guys, I can bring this fruit salad, which I think you would probably not mind making, and you get to see your mom, and it's kind of about like women in general. But if no one's doing any celebrating, it's just a gathering where you're cooking and doing all the cleaning, like you're within your right to be like, actually, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, I think what you probably want to do is since it's her mom's 3 sisters, all their sons are dipshits. So what if you meet them like, hey, we'll do an afternoon tea. Like we can get together when your house is sit outside, have some iced tea, have a fruit salad. Like I'm not going to sit there and cook you a whole thing. You can see the baby. We can say how much we love each other.
Just drop by.
Yeah.
Once you have your own family, once you have a kid, I mean, I find like people kind of don't question what you do and decide to do. And like, you have different priorities now. And you did your time by celebrating these women all of these years, including your mom. I do think your mom's celebration takes a little bit of a backseat when you become a mother and have a kid. It's a bummer that you can't just have the mom over. Like we always do something with like Noah's mom, me. I've had a friend over that's a single mom. Like you just try to make it like a fun, easy day. Yes, my husband's a chef, so that does make it a lot easier. But like on this day that's supposed to be like at least an hour break, you certainly don't want to be like out there sweating over a grill for a bunch of vaping pieces of shit. We're too busy on Reddit to turn around.
Can I tell you, your Instagram account just posted my favorite joke of yours the other day, which is what men do, where you talk about they're on Reddit. Like that, I think is one of my favorite bits.
They love Reddit.
Well,
it's a place because I was on it recently.
There. What were you doing? Where were you? What subreddit were you in?
I was trying to look up the best wings in Buffalo.
Good. That's what Reddit's for.
Yeah, people had very strong opinions about not going to Anchor Bar, so we didn't. And I appreciate, like, weirdly, sometimes you do trust a total stranger and you can tell by the way that they write, like, yeah, I believe this person. I do think it's also a safe space where like men can be vulnerable because there are zero consequences because your name is not attached to anything meaningful information wise. But I get how people feel it's a safe space.
There's a new subreddit just for men being vulnerable called like Guy Cry or Cry Guy, and guys are just like,
I'm having a tough time. Other guys, bros.
Yeah. I this thing where women are like, fuck guys, you're not allowed to have, everybody has their own issues that they shoulder. I guess the bigger issue is that anything that women are upset about is always deemed hysterical or ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so both genders are just constantly frustrated at the other. I guess at the end of the day, find someone who cherishes you. That way you don't have to go on Reddit.
I mean, I just pulled up my Reddit to see what my homepage is, and it includes, is my Pokemon card fake?
Oh, speaking of Pokemon, somebody for my Y2K rave birthday gave me a Tamagotchi, which I never had because I was a little too old. So I gave it to Sierra. And she's like, what, can I type? Because she doesn't have a phone or anything. But I was like, I think you have to like wait for it to wake up or hatch. She's like, what is hatch? I'm like, it's got to hatch and now it's beeping. And I don't know what to do. I think it just beeps forever.
I don't think so. You know, they're kind of like back. Like when I was working Comic-Con a couple of years ago, they had a giant booth with new ones.
It's definitely new.
Yeah.
But Noah was like, do we want this thing that's just beeping at her? And I was like, we definitely don't. I'm not going to read the instructions to look how to feed that thing or set the time.
So much trash. All the toys now are just making plastic, and it's wild to me. It's just little bits of crud. But I was very fascinated by the Hatchimals, and I want Sierra to have one so I can live vicariously through her. There's a new one that's a dinosaur, and it's literally an egg, and you don't know what's in there, and it like hatches itself, and something comes out, and you're stuck with the toy you get.
Okay, we'll go on Amazon and order me one.
I'm going to go get you a hat. Send it right from Amazon. Hatchimal. Made in a sweatshop.
Beeping now. It's in the other room, just beeping.
Well, that's like a Furby. I mean, that's the growing up experience. I would have my Furby I'm in bed and the Furby starts talking and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. All they want is fruit.
They said Furbies would learn. Like if you talk to them enough.
You're younger than me. So I never had
I'm
one.
sorry. You didn't have a Furby.
I never even had a Tamagotchi. I had Pogs.
Yeah, that was a little before my time. Did you play marbles?
You're like, I wasn't born. I did play marbles.
Mm.
I had a lot of marbles. But I don't remember playing them with anyone. And you know what? Flicking that big one with your thumb hurts.
I remember I had the same. I feel like I had a few Pogs. I had like crazy bones. I had all these different little things. I had Pokemon cards. I wasn't playing Pokemon. I was just like, look at this one.
Yeah, it takes a certain kind of mind. Okay.
All right.
Whatever the advice was is what we said.
Okay, we have an email and we have an immediate follow-up, but I'm going to read the email. Hi, Ask Iliza Anything gang. I've been going back into the archive to listen to your podcast from the beginning again. It's so great to see how you and Emily and everyone have grown since the beginning. Have we grown?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Some of us have grown and then gone back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I'm cooler now.
I mean, you've had 2 children. That's kind of a big life stage change.
No, it's not a big deal. No one wants to hear about your kids.
Yeah, you're just the exact same.
The shittiest people on the internet. Yeah, I definitely say I'm different now.
I'm
different animal.
Wow, real plug, real tie-in.
That's the plug.
Did you want to talk about your birthday at all?
I didn't realize. Okay, well, let's save it. Let's do this. Then we'll talk about the birthday.
Okay. All right, we'll do this question because it's an intense one. Then we'll talk about the birthday. I am a 35-year-old female who was born in South America but was adopted by a white family when I was a few months old. I received my PhD in December 2019 and accepted a position at a small liberal arts college in a rural town in upstate New York. The first few years were hectic because of all the COVID restrictions and teaching in the hybrid/high flex manner. However, I always felt supported and cared for by the other faculty and staff. But 2 years ago, in 2023, I started receiving racist letters from an... But 2 years ago, in 2000...
Just so everyone knows, Emily's computer almost fell. We have to keep that.
He just jumped on it from the back. But 2 years ago, in 2023, I started receiving racist letters from an unknown source. In the spring 2023 semester, I received 3 letters, with the last one on the college's graduation day. The college campus safety lead looked into the incidents, but nothing was ever discovered. They said it sucked that it happened, but there wasn't anything they could do besides hope that if it was a student that they graduated that year. 2 years passed and nothing happened until fall 2024. On 2 separate occasions, someone in a car yelled racist comments at me. Think, go back to your country, your people should have been the one assassinated. While I was out in the community, I told my students about these incidents and canceled class when the second incident occurred. The following week, I asked my students to provide anonymous feedback on the course so I can make some changes or do things to help them have a better classroom experience. In one of those anonymous feedback forms, a student wrote, "You deserved those comments."
Jesus.
I went and showed...
What's wrong with people? Also, like, didn't you see the car type? When they yelled it out?
I went and showed the school's administration. They launched an investigation. Nothing came of that investigation. After another incident...
By the way, I'd be like, you're all getting failed until someone comes forward. You're all going to have to write a report every day until someone comes forward. And that would have smoked out that rat.
Then you're going to get a bad review on Rate My Teacher. Did you ever look at that? Whatever. And I'd be so excited when it's like, this teacher's so hot.
No, I didn't. No.
Was that also? It'd be like, he's the hottest man and he's bad at teaching. And I'm like, great. Sounds like a good class.
Emily. You're younger. You were in college last year with your Tamagotchi.
I was in college over 10 years ago. After another incident, I was granted a leave for the final week of October and the month of November. When I returned on the final week of classes, my coworker and I both received racist letters in our campus mailboxes. Mine said, not in our class, with the word Mexicans crossed out, which is hilarious because I'm not Mexican. And his said, not in our class, with the word gays crossed out. Again, the school launched
There's no
an
camera?
investigation.
There's no camera? Like,
It
people can just go to his
seems-
faculty mailbox willy-nilly? William Nillard?
When explaining what's happening with the case, lead investigator said, it has to happen again before we can do anything. Are you serious? So,
Because it's a liberal arts school.
this was the first question. Should I try to stay in this position but continue working remotely or just outright quit? I'm up for tenure next fall of 2025. And if I left, I'd have to start my tenure clock over. Plus, there are very few academic jobs and tons of applicants, so no guarantee I would be able to secure another job in academia. Some of my friends from grad school suggested I sue, but I don't really want money, and I know the school doesn't have any extra anyway. What I really want is just to feel safe where I work. I want a workplace that does more than just performative actions. I really enjoy the majority of my students and the people I work with, but the culture of the college is just so toxic. It also doesn't help that my husband is now living and working in Alaska, so my biggest support system is on the other side of the country. I'd really appreciate your straightforward thoughts. Thank you all so much. Now, we got a little bit of follow-up because they had submitted this one via Instagram, and now they're coming back to us. I received another racist letter. ICE is coming for you last week.
Oh, my God.
Now I'm definitely leaving, but the question is, do I wait until after spring break to get my classes together for my department, 2 weeks, or finish out the semester completely online? Since we're a private college, we don't have a union and our HR is useless. They're actually part of the racism and discrimination on campus. I'm not sure what to do, since I feel loyalty to most of the people in my department, just not to the school and administration. I hate that you're going to lose your tenure.
I do too. I hate that you've decided to leave.
I can't.
Because it's just some loser who's just trying to rattle you, and what they want is for you to leave so that they win. It was a freshman because they're still at the school, or it's just like a fun thing these kids do. Is there can you not leave? Are we getting to you in time? Like, you leave, you lose your career path and your trajectory, and you start over, and it's already hard for you. Like, the best thing you can do, and I get it. Like, I know what it feels like to want to like set down a fight because people seemingly hate you. But like, it has to matter that you are an educator who's devoted your life to this. There has to be some recourse, because if you sue, you're right. I mean, don't feel bad for the institution. Like, you don't know who funds that school, or maybe you do. Don't feel bad for them. It's just more about like, because you're a woman, you're gonna look annoying. It's gonna look like, what, you're suing the school. Like, you're just gonna look bad. Is there a way? Put up your own Ring camera. Is there a way to get with the faculty and get some other teachers this has happened to? I mean, the truth is, students are running amok on campuses all over, and this goes beyond a peaceful protest. Like, I think, as we've seen with the way Jewish students are treated. And then it turns out, oh, wow, these campuses are being funded by people who actually hate the people that you're targeting. So I just wish you could, it's hard for me to like, just fight. Like, I'm not brown. I'm not Latin. I don't know what that's like. But I hate that some loser who's doing this as a hobby is going to deter you from your goals and from, frankly, money and comfort that you're entitled to as a professor.
I think it's hard. It's also really hard to advise on, just because I feel lucky that I've never felt unsafe I felt unsafe in my life, but not overall at my job, at my school, I can't imagine every day you go in and you're worried that someone's going to throw something at you or attack you or report you, or that's very emotionally exhausting.
Yeah, that's not fair, especially for a teacher.
I don't have a solution, but I don't want you to leave. But I don't. I do wonder, is another school going to be about? I think we're in a time right now where it's like everybody feels very emboldened to be as hateful as they want, and I don't know that it's going to be better at another school right now. If you have a support now, unless you can go to Alaska and be with your husband, but if you have a support network of other people there, it's like. But again, you don't want to reward. It's so tough because it's if the HR there and the general like vibe of that place is not supporting you.
Rally other teachers, because there is power in numbers, and rattle that cage and be like, this is happening. This happened to this gay guy. It's probably happening to other people. Where are the allies? Where are the other people at this liberal school that love brown people so much that would be like, hey, this is fucked up. Now we don't want to teach. Why can't the teachers do that? Because without the teachers, there is no school.
Can we find the real police? Like, it sounds like it's the investigators at the college, which they are always, just like HR, they are working on behalf of the institution that is employing them.
They're hoping you'll forget it.
Yes. Can you go to the real police with this? Not that they're necessarily going to be so much more helpful, but just I just hate, because
is there a version where you're like this, you guys, is there like an edict or something where like they've created an unsafe work environment? Like, do you have any rights as a teacher? Can you go talk to a law professor? Or is it such a liberal school that they don't have a law department?
Because like, is there something where it's like, you are pushing me out because you will not support me, and so tenure me now, sucker? Like, does tenure transfer, or does tenure only apply to that school?
But her question, no, it doesn't transfer.
No.
I don't see how it would.
I don't know.
Her question is like, do I finish it out remotely or like help out my fellow teachers?
At that point,
no.
Okay.
Because I guess there's this side of it where like, you cannot allow this racist person to dictate how you behave. And so if you, from what I'm gathering, like if you screw over your other teachers, if you don't complete that, then it's affecting your behavior toward your colleagues. And like, you have a set of morals and standards for how you are. I deal with this all the time. I'm like, am I going to let somebody who's a misogynist or an anti-Semite or just rude, like forget anything about me? Like, am I going to let the fact that they were raised wrong impact the fact that I was raised right? And am I going to let them influence the way that I carry myself? And the fact that I say please and thank you, and the fact that I don't say racist things, like, am I gonna let that impact me?
Right.
And it's a choice. It is a choice not to stoop down, because all you want to do is get down there in the mud and squeeze their fucking necks. So I'm just saying, can you rise above it? Can you get some allies? Can you get some support? Please don't leave.
Well, and it sounds like if you are going to stay, Iliza, you're very right that you need to do what you know is right for you, and it's supporting your other teachers, finishing out your lesson plans,
By the way,
things in the best way possible.
It's been 3 years, and I don't mean to like, if they were going to do something, they would have done it, because talk is cheap. Like, just saying like, go back to your own country, that is such latent like racism 101 low lift that immediately gaslights you just enough into making you feel unsafe. But they like literally wrote that note on the toilet.
I think the scariest thing is maybe that it's not one person and that it's multiple people.
Yeah, or two. Like, it isn't, it's happened enough that it's annoying, but this isn't an everyday thing. They're not banging on your window. I think this is just like, let's rattle this teacher because we're bored.
Yeah, I think it sounds to me, not that this is better, but a little bit better personally, that they're being racist to everyone on campus and you're not being targeted as the one person they're being racist to.
She didn't say that.
But I mean, that to me is less scary. If they're just, anytime they see someone that's not white, they're screaming stuff versus they're like, I'm going to make Mrs. Whoever lose it.
So I just, people that talk about stuff that threaten for a long time, usually people who are psychotic enough to do something horrible are like all action-based. And so there's always that. Like, this has been years of these like, you suck, go back to Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, at least like put a brick through a window or like show that you're about it. Don't you keep sending me these boring notes.
Don't show that you're about racism.
They're not listening to this podcast. I'm just saying it informs what you're dealing with. This person is not action-oriented.
No, they really need to get a life coach if they want to do their racism better and get more action-oriented.
I'm just saying. Those are the things. Please don't leave.
All right. Well, I feel like the people probably want at least a little bit about your birthday.
Okay, I had a Y2K themed, and by the way, if somebody did write into the podcast asking questions about a different animal. So they wrote in on the Patreon. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah, I just figured.
Save it.
I just fit. What? I mean,
what?
All right, let me.
I just feel like this is the episode we should talk about a different animal. I saw it.
Somebody asked about the nails, which you posted on there.
I posted the nails. They're on the Patreon. I ended up ordering them too long, so they didn't look right. I had badger claws, but it doesn't take away from the artistry of the nail because the nails match the pants. So you can go to the Patreon in the general chat, and you can see those.
Yeah.
Here it is.
What?
Hi, Iliza and crew. I've been a longtime fan, and years ago used your specials to get my wife into stand-up comedy. She's now a bigger fan of yours than I am, and we both love the freaking heck out of you. Whether it's a live show or a special we put on before bed, watching stand-up comedy is one of our favorite things to do together, and we've seen you live and done meet and greets twice. Most recently, my wife, Kelly, gave you eclipse glasses in Boston. I remember those because I saw the eclipse in Maine. I don't need advice, but I have 2 questions. One, what's your strategy and how has it changed over the years? We've seen you at the Chevalier Theater and the TD Garden, very different venues. I'm curious your process on planning tours and targeting venues. It's usually offer based, and you can play a lot of, this is the dirty secret. You can be someone who plays an arena. First of all, the bigger the venue, the more expensive. But if you don't fill it totally, then you actually end up losing money. So while we had like 8,000 people come out, that's not a complete arena. And so this time around, we picked the Chevalier hoping to do a massive run, multiple shows, because the more shows you do, especially on a night, the more money you make.
Then you add them, right? Like if you sell one out, you can sometimes add another one.
I add them, and we're doing that. But especially to do 2 shows on a night, do like a massive run. So sometimes it is offer-based, sometimes it's vibe-based, sometimes it's a good look to do the big venue, sometimes it doesn't matter, take the money. So it's always about what do we think we could sell, how much, and how much money can we leave with. Obviously, if I were able to just play arenas and fill them, I would do that. But there is a lot of skill. Sometimes doing an underplay actually might make you more money because you could sell those tickets. Like you could charge $100 a ticket and play a comedy club. And there would be such a demand because there's only, say, 170 tickets available. So you might make more than if you sold out half of a medium-sized venue. It just depends. And it depends on the comic, depends on the economy. And so it's this ever sliding scale. Are meet and greets ever not going to be socially distanced? Don't get me wrong. We fully enjoy the experience, but have so much love and respect and appreciation for you. We just want to hug you. I'd even settle for a high five or a fist bump. Hell, you could even kick me in the shin. I just want the real thing. I can totally respect your boundaries. Was just curious. And this is from Billy. Thank you for all the laughs you brought through the dark times. Thank you, Billy. I don't know that I can really go back to hugging every single person like I did before COVID. COVID aside, I get sick. Because you're breathing in, and not everybody, that cat is staring at me. Not everybody's hygienic. Not everybody is well when they go to a show. But the good old folks of Toronto, they went ahead and just ignored all of the tape we had on the ground. I got a lot of hugs. I got a lot of handshakes. So I'm fine to do that. If you need a hug, we can do it. I just don't want to because that's me touching a lot of people. And I will get sick. But you want a handshake? We could do it. We can do a handshake.
Interesting. And you used to do like meet and greets for free because
that's right.
But you would be shaking hands and talking to so you would get sick like so every time. So you had
even just talking, we're within a few feet. Like that's germs being exchanged. And it is like on a normal night, we have 100 people.
Right. So if it was just whoever was at the show, also you'd be there for like 40 hours. Right. Like it just isn't feasible.
So that's it. It's not that I want to take away from the intimacy of it, but it is a lot of just being in someone's physical space. The 6 feet away thing doesn't really do anything and no one ever does it. But just trying to create some sort of barrier so that I don't have a cold every weekend that I bring back to my children. That's the answer. But okay, so that's my answer. Birthday party. For my birthday, I decided to have a Y2K rave themed birthday. Now, if you know me, you know that I did a rave for my 40th birthday, but the truth is, it was so much fun. I was like, let's do this again in a different way. I made the theme colors white and lavender because I think they're just beautiful together and they're very like 90s. And that was the theme. Everybody showed up and showed out. Like mothers from my daughter's preschool came in butterfly clips and tiny tanks. Everybody looked impeccable. People wore big rave pants. I rented out, shout out to Spotlight, the nightclub on Cahuenga, which is a gorgeous club. Hunter had run a stand-up show there. And my agent's old girlfriend was the manager. And she was like, we'll hook it up.
I got a lot of compliments on Hunter in Toronto last night or the night before. Whenever Hunter, you guys were in Toronto, people were
we had 2 shows.
People were like, he was so nice. He was so cool. He was so great. I love that they still tour together, which is nice.
Hunter's great.
Yeah.
Hunter's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
He came jet lagged from Japan. We had, you can look at the pictures. We had a ice sculpture of a Nokia phone
which
with my
you've
name
been
on
wanting
it.
for so long, an ice sculpture.
And I do them. I was going to do like a giant Star of David, but I was like, you know what? I'll just set this down for tonight. I got a tooth gem station. You can see that? See my tooth gem? Ting, bling, bling.
How long does that last?
Bling, bling.
It's like 10 teeth back.
I didn't have the guts to do it on my canine incisor. It was like too much of a vibe. So this is, you have to smile really big, and I don't tend to show a lot of back teeth and gum. It's just enough to catch your eye. I love it. It lasts a few months.
Oh, what is her secret?
Someone was
Ooh.
like, I have a medical conference tomorrow. Can I get one? I was like, depends on if you're buying or selling. I love it. I would do it again. I might get another one when I go to see my 10-year-old dentist. So shout out to my dental hygienist whose side hustle is a company called Gem Tooth.
Gem Tooth.
Gem Tooth.
Oh,
And so everybody at the party, I had it available. And also shout out to Humanoid. It is a cosmetics company. They came and they did like an activation. So they were putting their makeup on people and it's all very like
90s?
90s, but like cosmic kind of festival-y cool stuff. So everybody got stuff. Red Bull is always a great partner. So we had a lot of Red Bull-based cocktails that I named, like the iPod Shuffle, Low Rise Jeans, LimeWire. I love throwing parties and I love curating them. And we had DJ Andrew Lux, who played incredible music. And then the manager came over. She was like, do you want a fog machine? I was like, ask me a harder question. And we had it from 7 to 10 because that's what you want when you're in your 40s. A 7 o'clock start, and 10 o'clock hit, and the new party came in, and we went to this weird bar next door that had like no vibe and was doing karaoke with like 21-year-olds. And I was like, I hate karaoke. I'll sing 2 songs.
What songs?
And there is, I think Alicia wanted to sing Lollipop by Lil Wayne. You think you know rap, and then you have to do it without the lyrics, and it's garbage. Needless to say, I'm not a big let's take this party back to my house person, but about 6 people came back and it was literally just me listening to music on my phone in the kitchen like a crazy person while Noah's parents smoked some pot with like 2 of our friends. And Scott hung out all night.
Yes.
Scott and his wife,
Scott
Chrissy,
Hottie.
he was in.
Hot Scotty. Hot Scotty.
Hot Scotty was on his own wavelength and it was awesome. And he texted me, he's like, dude, 10 out of 10. Like everything's just been so
perfect person to invite to a party.
He's so great. Everything's just been so rough lately. And so you open the news and everything's so stressful. I was like, we just want to dance and party. And we did. And it was great.
Yeah.
It was just awesome. So check out the pictures on my Instagram.
All right. Well, I think that leads us into Top of the Cob.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
Ooh, I got it.
Starting
I'm
with
so proud of it.
the bottom. Are you proud of your bottom?
I'm proud. I'm always. Here we go. I wrote it to myself. My bottom is, this is very zeitgeisty. So everybody's talking about Meghan Markle's show With Love on Netflix, except for you. Per usual, my issue is not so much with the thing as it is with the commentary on the thing. Because women are like pressed about this. Like they are devouring it, loving to hate it.
Yeah.
And I was listening to some random podcast to fall asleep on the plane. And they were, you sound catty when you go in on her and make fun of her.
Yeah.
I'm not defending her. She doesn't need it. I don't think nobody cares. But people are mad that it's not relatable. They're like, she seems so tone deaf. It's not relatable. You idiots demand relatability from people who aren't relatable. The whole reason you're watching someone who's a duchess is because it's like maybe not even aspirational, but they're leading a life that you can't. And if you want something relatable, you could watch Magnolia Network. But this demand that all women have to be, we had the same indictment on Gwyneth Paltrow, and we've talked about this on the show. Whether you like her or not, she's money, she has a different price point, and she's presenting to you a business, whether it's bullshit or not, is irrelevant because it's quote unquote aspirational. And so demanding this relatability from a woman who's been like put through it, whether she's good or not, I think is a straw man argument.
Yeah.
I think that that's not a reason to not like her because we say this for every woman. Like, what do you want her to do? Cry on camera that the royals were racist to her?
Right.
And she makes dumb food. So wanting that from her really makes me mad because it always seems small-minded and like you're not giving the real reason you don't like her, which is that the product is bullshit. And also, I didn't watch it because I don't believe in that product. So all of these people, you get on your podcasts, you get on your microphones and on your articles and you're like, here's why I don't like it. But you watched it.
Right.
And that is why people like you watching it are why we have TV that is like that. Because it's not about if something is good or bad. It's about if you watched it. And people still in 2025, and this extends beyond her, just in general, don't get that even when you hate watch and even when you watch someone because you annoy you or you think it's ridiculous, it doesn't matter. Your opinion is irrelevant because what counts is the time logged looking at that. If you really don't like something, don't support it. Don't support it with your dollar or your attention. But I get this a lot too with different people in comedy. They'll be like, I hate so-and-so. And I'm like, but you watched the special. So you're part of the problem.
Right.
Don't come complain to me 5 years later because you're annoyed at that person. You did it.
Right.
You can hate her, but then don't question why she has anything when you're the reason she does.
Right. Hating is another part of like the economy now. So
for sure.
All right. Bottom of the cob from a fan, which is, again, so specific, which I love. Hi, crew. My bottom of the cob this week has experienced surprise glasses required moments. I am loosely nearsighted, as in I don't need glasses for 90% of things, but if I need to see details far away, I have to put them on. I was so excited to finally get to see Yellow Jackets. Now it's on Netflix because I refused to buy a Showtime add-on. Couple episodes in, everything was fine. However, they went to a plot device I absolutely despise. Important plot elements revealed via text message. So I had to pause the show, walk up to the TV so I could read the text because I didn't want to go to my bedroom and grab my glasses. Once would have been fine, but they did this several times in following episodes, just enough to be annoying, but not enough to make me go get my glasses. Please, Hollywood, if you're going to put important plot elements in text, blow that font up. Sincerely, annoyed and blind-ish.
Do it like your parents text, like how their phones are like 15-point font. I also love the idea of someone walking in and you're just like up close to the TV.
Sorry, it's a text.
Whispering to yourself. You know what movie, and I don't know why I remember this, did that and it bothered me? Like Suicide Squad, the one where Jared Leto's like not really in it.
Yeah.
And every time, what's her name? Harmony Korine. What's her name? Harmony Cobell. What's the character?
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. She would get a text and it would just be like, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you. Here I come. And you're like, cool. Cool plot. I'm so close.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
My bottom of the cob does top yours. As I said earlier, my dad got heart surgery Tuesday. Very scary. Went twice as long as it should have. But everything went theoretically as well as it could. But now one lung is still partially deflated and he's recuperating and can barely walk or move and just feels nauseous and sick all day. So it is scary. And he used to check his blood every like couple hours. Like, is his heart? Is he going into AFib? So that's, you know how I stress about the cats. It's also very stressful when it's your dad. So
of course.
Bottom of the cob.
Yeah, that's a real bottom. It's like your parents being sick is just something that they're not supposed to do.
It's weird to see. I went over one day and he had like a blanket around his little head. He was a bit like a little baby in a bassinet. And I was like, oh, are you okay? What's happening here?
Yeah.
You're too cozy.
It's like natural, but unnatural for sure. I'm sorry.
It's very weird.
Top of the cob.
Oops.
My top of the cob is flight specific. And I've been traveling a lot this week. I was in New York for like 4 days and then Toronto and then Buffalo. And then I came home this morning and I flew. I got up at 4 a.m.
Barf.
And what?
I just said barf.
Okay. And I flew Buffalo to Detroit. Not my favorite airport. Way too big. Like you need to be an Olympic athlete to get from one end to the other. And even within one terminal, it is still a slog. Like, do I take a shuttle to get from gate 1 to 30? Okay. My top of the cob is when you have a connection that's tight, like butthole tight, you're not late, but you get in. It's like you walk off your plane, you kind of speed walk, not run, to your next one, and you're immediately online for the plane and you immediately get on. Like it's just seamless, like just one right to the other, and you're just in from one jet bridge right onto another, and you take off. This is why we take the early flight. Seamless. Was home even like 10 minutes early. And I just live for that. I live for it. Thank you, Delta.
Thank you, Delta.
I did have to listen to the bad music and it was blasted at like 7 a.m.
Yeah, they want to get
and that is
pumped up.
But I have so many miles with them, it doesn't even matter. And they don't even care. Just miserable. But that butthole tight connection just right in there. Okay.
Fan top of the cob. Specific top. When you get unexpected gifts. My husband's work truck had the transmission change. It went way over the allotted time. When he picked it up yesterday, the mechanic asked if he had a wife or girlfriend, which he confirmed. They gave him a gift card to a local nail salon for me. I'll be riding this high for a while.
Hey.
That's actually very smart because they could have gone, we're giving you $20 back because it took long. And you're like, okay. But if they're like, we have a gift for your significant other so you can look like a hero, that is so much more psychologically rewarding. It's very
I thought
smart.
it was going to be, do you have a wife or girlfriend? No, why? Because we found panties in your back seat.
No, that's not a top.
What's your top?
My top is my second show I produced for work. Debuts this Friday. Double Take. It is a double feature show. Does it sound familiar to what I do as my podcast? Yes. But I've produced it as a show. It's like 30 minutes of original content around 2 films. That was Iliza.
What?
You did a full.
I was actually doing my best not to yawn. And I was like, I'll just put my hand. I'm sorry. It's great.
My name's in the credits. I made it.
Feels good, doesn't it?
It's nice because I made it and I'm the executive producer and it feels cool that I made this thing.
It is cool to be in charge of something, to execute it and have your vision.
Airing free on Shout TV.
You hear that, folks?
Go watch.
In-depth look.
So I look
behind
good.
the scenes.
Actually, go comment on the social media so I look good. Find me. Say nice.
Yasmin Bleeth biopic.
No, but they have put me in charge of booking the guests, so you can guess how that's going.
Is she a woman? Is she older?
I had to be like, I guess I should have some guys on too.
You're like, you don't look like Angie Harmon. Get out of my face.
Get out. Get off.
You guys, the next show that we have is going to be me in Florida. Multiple chances to see me at multiple Hard Rocks in Tampa and Orlando and Hollywood. Those are in the wrong order. Tickets at Iliza.
Can you put your I know, but can you put your pants up in one of the Hard Rocks?
They'd be like, nobody cares. My picture is on the wall, and I believe it's a Hollywood Hard Rock.
Put it in a frame and bring it to Florida and be like, this is for you as a gift.
This is for you, Florida. I know you guys love a mesh leather combo. We'll be at the Hard Rock Live in Hollywood, Florida, Hard Rock Live in Orlando, and then Tampa. And that's going to about round out the Get Ready tour. And then, of course, we have Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney, and Auckland, New Zealand coming up in a few weeks. Then we're just gonna start writing that new hour.
Oh boy.
Take a little break. But yeah, don't forget to write in your questions, even if you can't be at the live Ask Iliza Anything. We still would love to read your juicy questions or save them for an episode.
AskElizaPodcast@gmail.com/go to @AskEliza on Instagram. There's literally a button under the bio. It says email.
Yeah.
And you click it and it opens an email, your preferred email client, and fills in the email address for you.
That's right. And remember, keep that connection butthole tight. I thought you were going to say it.
I don't know what you were trying to do.